Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 18 of the Online Teaching Show with me. My name is Tim. If we are meeting for the first time, I'm so happy to see several of you in the chat, and it's really great to have you here. And if you are here in the chat for the live, please say hello in the comments, and I would love to say hello back and see who is watching. Today, we're going to talk about 5 website myths, and I'm super excited about this episode, so let's get into it. All right, that's it. So we're going to talk about 5 website myths. But before we get into that, I would love to know from those that are here in the chat or watching the replay about daylight savings time. So I'm kind of wondering if I should move this back an hour to correspond with the end of classes. For those of you that are online teachers, especially teaching in students in China, you would have ended classes an hour ago. So I'm kind of curious with the time change if it's better to leave it at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or to move it an hour forward or back or behind or whatever it is to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to know. Let me know in the chat which option works better for you. Would you be more likely to watch it if it was an hour earlier, or is this still a good time for most people? Because in Malaysia or in Asia in general, we don't do daylight savings time. So yeah, I'm kind of curious. And it's also an hour later here to keep it at 9 a.m. So it's 10 p.m. here. Doesn't really matter, but just curious when folks would be most likely to watch. So let me know in the chat what your preference is. Would you want it to be an hour before or keep it at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? The other question is, I've been sort of pondering with whether to do the live in the evenings in Eastern Standard Time, which would be my morning. So also curious, when do you normally like to watch lives, and what would be the best option? Very curious about that. So let me know in the chat. And also, let me know in the chat if you have a website, either if you have a website or if you've ever thought of creating a website. So we're talking about websites again. I did talk about websites about a month ago. I was talking about kind of my process to creating a website and why it's important to have a website, what a website can do for you and how it can serve other people. So I'm interested to see who has websites and what your thoughts are about that. If you've ever wanted to create a website, please do let me know. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to tell you about something that I have created, something that I've been working hard on for the last few weeks. I'm excited to share that with you. But before we do that, we're going to say hello to the friends that are here with us. So first up, who wins the prize for being the first one is Rachel. Good morning, Rachel. And Kelly was also here. Hey, Kelly. I see a few more folks have popped in, so let's say hello. Stacy is here. Yes, a regular on the live chat. Thank you. I really mean it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining these lives. It means the world to me. I have said before, the most enjoyable part of my YouTube channel is being able to go live and engage with the community, to engage with all of you who are joining. So thank you for being here. Hey, Ben, good to see you. Thank you for coming. I know Ben has a website, so he's probably got some things to say. Michelle, hello, Michelle. Good to see you. And Esther is here as well. Hey, Esther, if you're just joining, you are live and you can say hello in the chat, and I would love to say hello back. Yes, Les Ryan is here as well. Thanks for keeping the show alive. Yes, so we did Wednesday morning last week. So it just seems like the other day I was popping on here. We had Angela Silva here. So if you go into my channel and you want to watch that, you didn't get to catch that interview. It was super, super fun. Go and watch that one. We got to chat with Angela about her new course. Yes, I am in Malaysia. Les. All right. Kathy says moving back to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is better for me. Okay, good to know. Yeah, there's probably going to be a mixed opinion. The video with the sunset and the reflection was amazing. Thank you. Yeah, Ben says morning for sure is better. Good to know. Yep. Hey, Gwen, good to see you here as well. And my friend Maria, thank you for joining, Maria. I love your emojis, but I'm blind, so I can't see it. I think it's a little dog. Awesome. Accessing your practice yoga with Sally. Good to see you as well. Morning, please. Yes. Hey, Sally. Good to see you. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I'm really curious if I should bump it back that hour. That's kind of what I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep it in the morning, but I'm just wondering with daylight savings time if I should bump it back an hour, if more folks would be able to join. So, hey, Rachel, good to see you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, you enjoy the mornings too. That is good to know. Who else has popped in here? Cindy is here. Hey, Cindy, good to have you as well. Yeah, so, all right, no opinions except for one on the change to 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you haven't put your idea about that, put it in the chat or leave it in the comments below. I am genuinely curious what I should do. Should I move it back an hour or keep it at the same time? So Gwen says maybe 30 minutes. Yeah, that's a good idea, Gwen. Maybe do it at 9:30 a.m. That still gives people a little bit of a break after classes, or sorry, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but maybe not enough time for people to get on with the day and not be able to join in. So Rachel says, definitely need a website. Yep, okay, we're gonna talk about that. Tina says, love your show. Oh, thank you so much. Love you being here, super, super appreciative. This is not a show without people watching, so I really appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, Cindy, says Rachel. So let's get into it. I try to keep these 30 minutes, try to keep them value packed, and would really enjoy your contributions, questions, or thoughts as we go through the 5 website myths that I wanted to talk about with you today. And again, please stick around to the end. I'm going to share what I've been working on and super excited to share that with you. And it's exclusively for those that watch this video. So hang tight. Sally says, same time for me, but I'm in Central Time. Okay. Yeah. When I think about Central Time and then Pacific Time, it just gets earlier and earlier because I'm not watching live on YouTube at 6, 7, 8 in the morning, I can assure you. But I know that it's the end of teaching time for folks. So Tina says, yes, 8:30 a.m. would be great. All right. Awesome. Good to know. So, okay, website. So when I first created my own website, probably about 8 years ago, I made one for teaching because I was teaching in brick and mortar schools in the international school system. And at that time, it was really trendy to make a website and to advertise, who you were as a teacher for the international school market, because it's a bit different than teaching for brick and mortar public schools. We have to go to job fairs and sort of sell ourselves and market ourselves a bit for positions. And so when your contract ends with a school, you generally have to start recruiting for your next position about 7 or 8 months before the start of the school year, which is crazy early. And it just means that you've got to be really prepared. And so I made a website. It was really basic, really ugly. It was a horrible theme, but it just basically had my resume up and a few other things. So since then, I ended up becoming a technology integration specialist for the last school that I worked at before resigning. And I was responsible for integrating technology in kindergarten, grade 1 and grade 2 classrooms and working with teachers to kind of amp up their curriculum and integrate use of iPads and technology into the outcomes. So that was my job, but a byproduct of that job was helping teachers to manage their own website or their own blog, because all teachers were required to have a website, a web presence for parents. Now we used, I think it was blogger.com at that time, and it was just a very simple blog where teachers were supposed to post each week their curriculum objectives, maybe examples of student work that had been completed throughout the week, and just news from the classroom, those general things. I wish you could see what my cat is doing right now. Definitely trying to steal the show, but I'm not going to move my setup here. And so through that, I really learned a lot about, helping teachers to make simple yet effective and beautiful looking websites. And then fast forward to kind of online teaching and what I've been doing lately, and building my own brand, building my own business outside of online teaching, helping online teachers to build their own brand and business. I have been able and fortunate to help some others to, brainstorm ideas for their website and to build their website. And I've had several clients over the last few years, both here in Malaysia and friends and family members, to help them build their website. So I have kind of a roadmap that I've followed to help others do the same in a kind of easy and simple way for those that have no website experience. And through that experience, I've talked to people who have a lot of ideas about making websites and fears around building their own. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this live. So I'm not going to pull up a PowerPoint. I'm going to share little banners at the bottom which talk about the 5 myths. But I do see that several others have joined. Wow, I'm so glad to see there are 30 people here. So if you are here for the live, I would be so grateful if you click the like button and said hello in the chat. It would be great to see who is here. Rachel says, I have a website, but I've needed a lot of help getting it up and going. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Rachel. All right, so let's pop into myth number 1, which is that I can't build a website because I'm not a web designer. Let me know if you've ever thought about making a website and maybe this is something that you have told yourself. I want to assure you that I am not a web designer, and I do not have a degree in web design, nor have I ever taken any classes in web design. And nowadays, you really don't need to be a web designer to make a beautiful looking website that is effective, that is searchable on the internet, and that provides value and help to your audience, to those that you're wanting to serve. So this is one thing that I hear a lot of people talk about is it's very difficult for them to think about building a website because they're not a web designer. But with the themes that are out there and the platforms that you can build your website on, they really are kind of a plug and play type of system, and you don't need to be a web designer. So I like to dispel that myth whenever I'm talking to anyone about building their website because it is such a common misconception. And with that, I hear a lot of people wanting to outsource building their website because they just don't have the time. They just can't be bothered with the technical aspects of it. And while I do advocate for definitely, outsourcing those skills to somebody else, if you really don't want to be bothered doing it, it can be so helpful for you to know how your website is built so that when you have updates and changes, you're not relying on someone else to build it for you or to make those changes. I am still managing a restaurant's website very, very casually, but the person that paid me to build their website doesn't want to deal with the back end of things. They don't want to deal with updating prices of things. And so I am, fairly constantly having to update things for them. And if they would have only learned those skills themselves or, spent the time to see how those little things work, it can certainly save a lot of time in the long run. So yeah, I definitely advocate for you being the one in control of building your own website. Okay, number 2 is creating a website is a huge time commitment. Okay, so with that, creating a website is a really important part of your brand and business. It's something that will live with you for as long as you are wanting to provide value in whatever niche you're in, whether it's online teaching or something else. Your website will always grow and evolve with you. So it really isn't a kind of one and done type of thing. It is something that does take time. It does take a level of commitment, but it doesn't have to take a long time to actually create the thing, right? It doesn't have to take a long time to get something up, to get something viewable by other people. And so I like to dispel this myth because you can do it in a few hours. You can create a website that is simple, beautiful, and effective without, spending hours and hours. But after that, of course, it does take time to, put the energy and effort into maintaining it and adding content and, helping it to grow with you and your business. So that's myth number 2. Let me know in the chat if you have any thoughts about myth 1 or 2. Yeah. Hey, Lee, the hot mess millennial. Love your brand name. I bought a website through WordPress a year ago for a project I wanted to start, but haven't started yet. I've heard negative things about WordPress after I purchased it, so it discouraged me. Okay, so WordPress is what I use, and I am a big supporter of WordPress. It isn't the only content management system out there. For sure, there's others, but WordPress is what more than 35% of the world's websites are built on. And so it is a solid, stable, and super flexible content management system to have on your website. And yeah, if you have any questions about that, feel free to send me an email or reach out. Okay, so let's go into number 3. that the more stuff on my website, the better. And as I've seen a lot of other people's websites and help people build their own website, there's a tendency to want to put everything on your website, right? A lot of people think that, well, I'm making a website about me, and so I need to have photos of me, and I need to have, you know, everything about me. I need to have every project I'm working on, or I need to have all of those things. We don't need to have all of the things on our website. Our website should be a very clear path to someone who is visiting us to understand who we are, who we're serving, and what we can offer them. And so when someone lands on your website, it's really important for them to get an idea within 20 seconds of who you are and what you're able to offer and the value that you provide. So they don't need to see all of the stuff on your website. The clearer and the simpler it is, the more effective it is. Okay, so yeah, this one is definitely something that I have seen a lot of folks want to put, you know, more and more on their website. And what ends up happening is it can have a tendency to clutter the website and make it less effective for someone who's visiting your website. So that is myth number 3. Yeah, so if you are here, let me know. Do you have a website? Have you ever thought of building a website? Do you have any questions about that? Would love to know. Alexandra is here. Yes, trying to find a way to stand out, be unique, and find my niche. Yeah, and that's one of the first things that I teach is to, when you're building a website, you may not have a solid idea of who you're serving, and that's okay, but it is something that you want to be thinking about from the beginning to set the direction and purpose of your website to serve those people. So yeah, definitely an important thing to be thinking about, Alexandra, for sure. All right, let's pop back over to, where are we? Myth number 4. A lot of people say that creating a website is too expensive. Now, websites cost money, right? For sure. Websites are not completely free. And if you want to have a website that converts, and by converts, I mean that is viewable by the world on Google and that people can visit and, you know, get value out of and can view easily, you are going to have to put a little bit of money into websites. So it doesn't have to be a lot. You're going to need to host your website somewhere, and there's usually a monthly fee. I use and support Bluehost. They're about $3.95 a month for a longer term commitment, or you can go on an annual commitment, which is, I think now is about $5.95 a month. So you're hosting, when I talk about hosting, I'm sort of talking about, you know, your rental space, so to speak, on the internet for your website. If you think of the internet like a supermarket or a marketplace type of situation, you know, you need to rent a space and they host all of your media and all of your content. And they also help you troubleshoot if you have any difficulties with your website. So you're going to need to host your website somewhere. It doesn't need to be expensive. You can certainly pay more money to have a designer or a developer create your website, but you don't need to, as I was saying. And you can certainly also pay additional money for themes that are more responsive and kind of help you to create what you're sort of wanting if you can't find that in something that's free. But the reason why I love WordPress is there are so many thousands upon thousands of free themes out there, free and paid, that are really responsive and search engine optimized, which is what we want for our websites, especially when they're on the internet. We want people to be able to find us. So they do not need to be expensive. You can get away with, you know, a really low cost hosting plan and put something for free, a free theme on your website to design. Now, the other thing you're going to have to pay for is the domain itself. Bluehost lets you have a free domain for a year, but if you're going to buy your website domain from a sort of third-party place like GoDaddy.com, GoDaddy is a place you can search for websites, then usually you're going to be paying about $3 to $4 or $5 per year for the website. It just depends, somewhere in that range, upwards to around $10 to $15 per year. So not a huge expense for sure. Okay, see a couple more comments here. Michelle says, I don't have a website yet, but it's my next step. This is very helpful. Oh, I am so glad. Yeah, Ben, I know I've seen your website. Looks awesome. Ben says, I have 3 different websites, one for music, one for teaching, and one e-portfolio. Awesome. Yeah. So, okay. I have several domains. I bought a kind of upgraded package within my hosting site to be able to have more domains. So if you go with the basic plan of $3, $4, $5 a month, usually you only get one domain. And by domain, if you're not understanding what that is, that's your www dot whatever your website is called .com. But if you pay for a slightly more expensive one, between $10 and $20 a month, then you get to have usually up to 5 to 10 more domains. It just depends. So I have several domains. My main website is onlineteacherdude.com. And I'm kind of going through a bit of rebranding at the moment, where I wish that I had made my website, my name, timgascoigne.com. And but I didn't. I do own that domain. I just haven't put anything on there yet. So yeah, we'll talk about, if you want, have any questions about domains later. But it's something to think about, especially since that is, your way of people finding you. It isn't the most important thing. I could have called my website www.iloveicecream.com. And, the content on there is still found. If people were searching for certain companies, people can still find my website. But the URL will be a little bit in conflict with the content. So it would be a bit strange, but you kind of want to have a bit of parallel to that. I recommend, for just starting, to definitely purchase yourname.com. It's a great way to start. That is who you are. Your name will not change, but your brand, your business, your product, your service, that might change. And so it's something to think about. Okay, let's pop up number 5, which is, I like this one. If I build it, they will come. So a lot of people think, well, if I build my website, that's all I need to do, right? People are going to just find my website on the internet. It's not like that. Websites take a long time and a lot of work to get found on Google. Think about when you go and search for something, a product, a business, a question that you want an answer to, whatever it is. Think about when you go on Google and search for that. How many times do you go beyond page 1 of Google to get your answer? I'm going to bet that most of you probably don't go beyond page 2 if you even get there. And the only reason I would ever go to page 2 is if page 1 was full of videos or paid ads. So what paid ads means is websites have paid for advertising space to have the keyword that you searched for. So you might search for something like best website hosting platform or something like that, or best thing to do in Italy, whatever it is. A website can purchase that keyword and bid on it and try to rank on page 1. So that's through paid advertising, and it'll be like a little AD in red or blue or something above that. So I usually watch out for those. Not that they're necessarily bad websites, but if there's a lot of those, or if there's a lot of videos, I might pop over to page 2 of Google, but very rarely. So it takes a lot of work to get your website visible on page 1 of Google. This is what we call search engine optimization. And it's something that I'm always working on with my website. I do rank on page 1 of Google for certain keywords. I think I rank on page 1 of Google for a blog post I wrote called Go-Go Kid versus VIP Kid. So I'm on page 1 for that. I'm on page 1, I think, for the Go-Go Kid interview. I'm on page 1 for a couple of VIP Kid keywords. But if you search VIP Kid, just the keyword VIP Kid, I'm probably on like page 9 or 10 or beyond, right? Because that is a very competitive keyword that many people are searching for. So I don't waste my energy on ranking for that keyword because I probably never will. But I might rank for VIP Kid pay structure or little things like that. So I create content around some of those smaller keywords. Cindy says, good to know about website name. I've been wondering about that. Yeah, great. Gwen says, haha, my name is Smith. Oh, that might have been a response to something else. And welcome, Justin Bieber in the house. Yeah, second week in a row, Justin. Thank you so much for joining the live. Yeah. Do you have a website, Justin? How to make music website. Yeah. I don't know. You're just going to have to jump in. Super funny. Good to have you here, Justin. And yeah, thanks for joining. So who else is here? George, you're right under Justin Bieber there. I have purchased a domain some months ago. Still, the website is not set up. So this might be handy for me. Very cool. Thank you, George, for commenting. Yeah, if you build it, they're not going to come. I hate to tell you, but there are some really strategic things that you can do once you have your website up. You know, I've heard people say, well, what's the point in buying a website domain or even bothering with a website? No one's going to find me in the millions and billions of websites out there. Well, you can do things like use your social media, and I use my YouTube channel to direct people to my website. People don't normally find my website organically through Google search. Sometimes they do. Actually, 80% of the people that find my website through Google search, funny enough, find my website through a blog post I wrote called 8 Korean Companies That Pay Higher Money. I forget what it is. 8 Korean companies that pay a high base rate, something like that. So I wrote a blog post about 6 months ago about 8 Korean companies where you can teach Korean students in Korea online. And it ranks really high. Lots and lots of people find my website through that. Was I targeting people that want to teach Korean students? No, I don't work for any Korean companies. I don't refer people to Korean companies. It was just content that I thought online teachers would find valuable. But once they land on my website, they might want to download something that I'm offering for free. They end up on my mailing list. I'm able to share content with them related to online teaching. And so that brings them into my community. It brings them into my email list where I can provide more value to them and serve them in bigger and better ways. So yeah, that's just a byproduct of creating a random blog post that ranks really high. But a lot of people find me through YouTube. And so through videos that I've made, which tend to get more viewed. It's a little bit easier on YouTube because generally we scroll more on YouTube when we are searching for a video. We don't always go for the first one like you do on Google. It just, the user experience is quite different. So yeah, that is kind of, I don't know where I was going with that, but hopefully you followed along with me. Mary, hello, Mary. Good to see you. I'm new. What a journey. Oh, yes, it has been a fun journey. Where do you work, Mary? What companies do you work for? Let us know in the chat. Cindy says, I think I found you by searching if guys teach for VIP Kid. Yeah, that in the very early days when I was making YouTube content, that was who I was wanting to serve and help. I was a male teacher that didn't have any male online teacher role models. And so I made a video about that, you know, about guys working at VIP Kid. And then I made a Facebook group related to that as well. So that is how a lot of people found me ages ago. Yeah, Amy says, Justin was on another live the other day too. I know, he just keeps popping on my content. Justin, I don't sing, I don't play music, I teach online, but I'm glad you're here. Do you teach online as well? Let us know. Kristen's Classroom says, yes, hey, Kristen. Oh my gosh, Justin Bieber is here, what a treat. Yeah, it's actually the second time he popped into Angela, my live with Angela, can't speak tonight, last week, which is super fun. Ben says, I found you by learning about short notice bookings on YouTube. Yeah, and so, you know, going back to that YouTube funnel that goes to my website, that's how my website gets traffic, mainly from my YouTube channel. So if you build it, will they come? Not right off the bat, but there are things that you can do to drive traffic to that. So, all right, awesome. Where are we at for time? So I wanted to invite you to Website in a Weekend. Now, Website in a Weekend, let me just pop up my second screen here. So this is what I've been working on the last few weeks. It is a very short mini training course that helps online teachers to build a website in a very short amount of time, a website not only that looks good, but also that you're proud of. And so on this page, if you want to go to onlineteacherdude.com /, let me just pop up that banner because I just made the link. Okay, .com /WIAW, Website in a Weekend. it will take you to this page, and I explain a little bit about what the product is and the offer for the next 7 days for folks that are interested in going through this. If you are brand new to creating websites, if you are interested and wanting someone to guide you and show you how to create a website that is simple, that is effective, and again, that you are proud of. So I have here that it's for online teachers who want to take the guesswork out and get a website up and running. So build your website in a matter of hours or a weekend, whichever comes first. Now, it is designed to be able to get set up in a weekend. So if you were too busy and you wanted to just kind of go through this at a pace, more relaxing pace on the weekend, you can get this up and going, and I am there to help you. And this is a digital product. So this is not a live training with me. This is videos, tutorials, PDF downloads, and some behind the scenes to help you get a website up and going. It is a 2-day guide to help you get clear on your website ideas, who you're serving, and to get your website out in the world. We use WordPress to create the website that you're proud of and excited to grow into your business. So my aim is to take the confusion out of the process of building a website and give you the tools to create something that you're excited about. So you will get access to your 2-day plan to creating and building your website. I will have full video presentations of each day's objectives. So if you wanted to do it over 2 days, as well as a full PDF download guide. So this is the cover of the guide that will take you through everything as well. And just some very small activities to help you narrow down your niche and start to put some ideas down onto paper. So I've also got walkthrough videos of setting up WordPress, setting up your hosting site, setting up, and I've got a couple of bonuses as well. So you can kind of scroll through there. I won't go through everything, but I basically walk you through getting your domain, setting up your hosting site, getting your purpose and direction straightened away, designing and creating content, and the next steps, social sharing and search, getting your website optimized as well. So bonus 1 is a behind the scenes walkthrough of my own website, what I've done. I also have a bonus on using Canva and designing your logo, setting up blog post covers, banners, and your front page to your website. And then the third bonus is keyword research. So how to get your website seen by more people. And so that's what I was talking about earlier. So website in a weekend is going to be a $39 product eventually, but I want to invite folks that want to just check it out and try it and go through it for $19 to the first 20 people that want to do it. So I'm putting it out there on the live. And if you're watching on the replay before November 9th, it will be $19. So by expressing interest here, in this little form here, you will just let me know that you're interested. There's no payment with this. It's just letting me know that you're interested. And when it is live on November 9th, I will give you access to it if at that $19 price. So lots of value-packed stuff in here. And I'm excited to share that with you. So go to onlineteacherdude.com/WIAW. Let me know if you're interested. And if you have any questions at all about it or about websites in general, I love to talk about it. So you can certainly send me an email and let me know. So cool. Andy says, hey, I've been thinking about setting up a website to go with my channel. Just trying to think about how to make it different from all the others. Great job with the live shows. Thank you, Andy. Yes, Andy has a show or a YouTube channel. Maybe you have a show too, Andy. But Andy has a YouTube channel, a little bit like Mike's Home ESL, maybe. To be honest, I can't quite exactly remember, but I know you do content about online games. So it'd be awesome to collaborate with you on my channel and talk about online games to use in the classroom. Les says this is very valuable. Thank you so much, Les. Appreciate that. Lee says that's awesome. Would be very helpful if the website has nothing to do with online teaching. Yeah. So, you know, my audience is online teaching, but this is like for anything. I mean, whatever niche you're in, this is just getting your website set up. I do want to preface this by saying that I am not your web designer. I'm not going to design your website or anything like that. I'm going to give you the tools, give you the confidence, and give you the resources to do it for yourself. So that's essentially what we're doing. Rachel says, yes, wish I had this to ease the headaches when I was trying to start a website. If you're wanting to start one, go grab this. Thank you so much, Rachel. Yes, Cindy says, interested. Awesome. Very, very cool. Yeah, thank you so much, Cindy. Yeah, so it's going to be $19 for let me be clear about that. Let me just pop this back up. So it's going to be $19 for November 9th. So November 9th is when it launches. It will be $19 for the first 20 people to get in. So if you send me if you sign up with this form, I will let you know on November 9th that it is going live and that you can purchase it for $19. After 7 days, it's going to bump up to $39. So get in. This is just for those that are watching. If you are interested to build your website and create something, yeah, let's do it. So let me just pop this back over on the side here. Yeah. All right, let's end this because we're a little bit over the 30 minutes, but thank you so much for sticking around. I'll just check if anybody has any questions about it. Les, you are so kind. No, I do not have a Patreon or any other way, but I really appreciate that so much. You are super, super kind. You know what? The best support that you can give me is to just engage with the content and come and say hi on the lives. Honestly, that brings me so much joy. And yeah, super happy to have you here. So thank you so much. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Hope you have a great Monday. And whatever you do, be good to yourself, be good to those around you. And I will see you all next Monday. I will think about the time change, 8 or 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I will let you know well in advance, and we'll have something fun and exciting. I've got a couple of possible interviews coming up. So yeah, super excited to have those on the channel. But I will see you then. So have a good week. And if you need anything, send me an email.